Hello, and welcome everyone to this past marathon, Achieving AI Analytics. We're excited you could join us today for Indira Bandari's session, Sentiment Analysis Using Cognitive Services in Power BI. This past marathon features back-to-back live webinars delivered by expert speakers from the past community. The sessions will be recorded and posted online after the event. You will receive an email letting you know when the recordings are available. My name is Donna Johnson, and I'm a decision support analyst and a BI developer with the Baptist Healthcare Corporation. I have a few introductory slides before I hand the reins over to Indira. Next. Hold on one second. My screen went
Donna,
blank.
can you?
Yes,
Okay.
my screen went blank.
Okay, I'm on the next session, technical assistance.
Okay. If you require technical assistance, please use the question pane located on the right side of your screen, and someone will assist you. This question pane is also where you may ask any questions. Feel free to enter your questions at any time, and once we get to the Q&A portion of the session, I'll read your questions aloud to the speaker. You are able to zoom in on the presentation content by using the zoom button located on the top of the presentation window. Please note that there will be a short evaluation at the end of the session. This will pop up after the webinar ends in your web browser. Your feedback is really important to us for future events, so please take a moment to complete it. Next.
Yeah, I'm on the next session.
Okay,
Yeah.
there it goes. And keep learning all year long. You can visit PASS.org and check out all of the free educational resources available to PASS members. Connect, share, and learn. Next. There we go. Don't forget that PASS Summit will be happening on November 5th in Seattle, Washington. Head over to passsummit.com and register today. Next.
Yeah.
This past marathon session is presented by Indira Bandari. Indira is a business intelligence consultant with over 15 years experience in designing and developing data warehouses and analytical solutions. She is speaker at the local user groups and SQL Saturday in New Zealand and co-organizer for the Auckland AI Meetup in New Zealand Power BI user group. Next. And without further ado, here is Indira with sentiment analysis using cognitive services in Power BI.
Okay. So, as Donna mentioned, I'm Indira. I have been working with SQL Server databases and created data warehouses using SQL Server. So, today I'm going to talk about sentiment analysis, mainly doing Facebook sentiment analysis using cognitive services in Power BI. So today's agenda is, let's learn about what a sentiment analysis is and why do we do sentiment analysis, how it works. A little bit, I will touch base on Microsoft Cognitive Services, a small demo, and then we'll go into text API, analytics API provided by the cognitive services, which does the sentiment analysis for us, and then a demo. So first of all, what is sentiment analysis? I'm sure you all have heard of the term machine learning. That machine learning actually is divided into three subcategories: supervised learning, reinforced learning, and unsupervised learning. Sentiment analysis is actually a part of supervised learning. So supervised learning is, as the term suggests, it's basically you pass in you train the program that you are developing with some inputs, and then you test your data, your program with some outputs. So for example, to be clear, you are developing a program of differentiating some kind of fruits. So if you train the program by passing some images of apples, naming them as apples, and then you pass another set of images called lemon, and then mark them as lemon. So in that way, you pass some different set of fruits and categorize them. And then when you send your test data, that is, if you send a banana, and then if the program returns that as an apple, then your program is not that good. So it should return the right data. So that's where supervised learning comes into picture. So the machine learning, it learns by what you train it to train the program to learn. So sentiment analysis is something similar to supervised learning, where you what is sentiment analysis? So sentiment analysis is the process of determining whether a piece of writing or an opinion is positive, negative, or neutral. So it is identifying and categorizing opinions expressed by your customer, let's say in a piece of text, to see whether the attitude towards that product or functionality is positive, negative, or neutral. So your customer might tweet on Twitter or post on Instagram or Facebook or a website to express their opinions. So for example, they may like or love or laugh out loud or express some sadness or angry or surprise emotions. Uh, why am I using these emojis from Facebook? I hope you have realized that I have taken these emojis from Facebook. And this is Facebook is using has become clever enough, has made a smart move by categorizing the sentiment analysis into these kind of emojis. So when you like a post, you either like it or love it, or you use those emojis. So that means you are doing the sentiment analysis for Facebook. So the Facebook is not doing much. So they have just used the emojis, and then you are providing the input that you have liked it, or you feel sad about it, or you feel surprised about it. So how does it work? uh, we have uh, as I mentioned earlier, we have to train the we have to first develop a trained data set. So our trained data set, because this sentiment analysis has a positive and negative, so you have a trained data set of positive words, and also you have a trained data set of negative words, and we will have neutral as well in this. So but we don't have any data set for neutral. So you have positive words and negative words in the database, and then you have a sample sentence. So each sentence will go through these words. They will be broken down by words, and then each word will go through these positive words and negative words, and then they will be categorized into a positive sentence or a negative sentence or a neutral sentence. If the word is not found in these within these positive words or negative words, then it will be categorized as neutral, and the final score will be either for positive it will be +1, neutral is 0, and negative sentence is -1. So let's see, for example, this is a very nice article. So that's a statement, and that will be broken down by this is a very nice article. Those are the words. So those positive words, so those will be compared with the positive words and the negative words in the database, which are positive words are good, love, some, fantastic, nice, cool. Negative words are not, bad, hate, and ugly. These are the words that I have provided. And oh, I've repeated this. Okay, so these are the words I have provided, and the result is this. It is not found in both of the databases, so it is categorizing them as 0. Is not there, a is also not there, very is also not there, but nice is there, and it is positive, so it has given +1. And article is also not found, so it is given 0, so the overall score is positive. And when you let's take another example of a negative, how a negative sentiment will be. So this post does not contain facts. So this post does not contain facts. That's an example sentence. And these will be compared with the training data set: good, love, awesome, fantastic, nice, cool. So this is not there. So post is not there, does is not there, but not is there, and it is under the negative category. So it will be marked as -1. And the others are not there, so it will be 0, and the overall score will be -1. I hope you understand now how the sentiment analysis works. So let's go to cognitive services provided by Microsoft. So if you go on Microsoft.com cognitive, the link that I provided, you will be taken to the cognitive services page that is provided by the Microsoft. The Microsoft provides about 5 different cognitive services. They can be categorized into 5 groups. One is based on vision. Using the vision API, you can do image processing and analysis. You can get the emotion of a face of a picture that you pass, and also you can do videos as well. And the second part is the knowledge, where you can map complex information and data into some intelligent recommendations and semantic search. So a lot of the Bing search APIs are under the knowledge category. And the next one we have is the language APIs provided by the cognitive services, where you can do the text analytics, and also to process natural language with pre-built scripts and evaluate sentiment and learn how to recognize what users want. So the other category is speech, where you can convert audio to text, and text to audio, and also you can do speaker recognition and speech verification, user voice verification as well with using these APIs. And the other API is search APIs, where you can search billions of web pages, images, and videos, and then and also news with a single API call. So today's main concentration is on the language API, where we have the text analytics API. So I'll just show you a small demo of the cognitive services. Okay, before I'll just show you a small demo of the cognitive services API. Let me go into Microsoft.com cognitive, and then you have something called, you have these here. See, these are the ones that I have shown you. So if you go into vision, for example, see, you have computer vision, and you can see a demo of let's say scene activity. So here this is analyzing an image, and then here it is putting the tags on. It is classifying that there is a train, identifying that there is a train with a confidence level of 99%, and the train station with a confidence level of 97. And then you can finally get a you can get a description of people waiting at a train station with a confidence level of 83%. And you can browse your own images. I won't be doing that now. Your own images to get the description, and then you can get the identification of the picture, what is going on in the uploaded image. So that's briefly about Vision API. And then if we go to yeah, there are different under vision section. We have computer vision video indexer, where you can detect some faces in the videos, and also objects and scenes. You have the content moderator. You can when you have time, you can go and try for free over there. Also look at these demos so that you
Bandari.
can get a better understanding. You can do content mod. Yeah.
I lost your mic for a
Is there
moment.
anything, any
No, it's
questions?
okay.
Okay, so yeah. And you can also do face detection, and emotion recognition as well, whether you are happy or smiling or sad or angry. And you can do some custom vision as well, where you can pass. This is also a supervised learning, where I was saying you can pass images of apples and then categorize them as apples, and then you can pass some images of bananas and categorize them as bananas, and then maybe uh, input your test data and pass some other image, or totally entirely different image of banana or apple or a lemon, and then see what it does. So you can do those kind of trials using the custom vision as well. So that's about vision. Then let's go, if we go into speech. Like I told you, speech to text, you can convert your audio to text, and then text to speech, and then you can do speaker recognition and speech translation as well. And I think there are about 120 languages supported for speech translation. um, and coming to the language, this is where our main concentration will be: text analytics. You can try the named entity recognition, key phrase extraction, and text sentiment analysis. This is the text sentiment analysis that we will go through. There is a Bing spell check. So when you are typing something, you can use this API to automatically spell check. And there is a translator text. There are no demos here, but you can use the container support. And content moderator, as I said, you can remove the offensive content moderation for images and videos using this content moderation API. And there is also language understanding. You can try the demo as well here. Because of lack of time, I'm just brushing through what cognitive services, Microsoft Cognitive Services are. In the knowledge part of the cognitive services, you can do a Q&A maker. So you can use this Q&A maker to create some chatbots on your websites, or even within your internal SharePoint internal website, so that you can get answers quickly when you chat with the bot, rather than going through a lot of knowledge bases in SharePoint. So you can get the answers very quickly using the Q&A maker. And finally, the search. So you have Bing web search and Bing visual search, custom search, and entity search. And also there are a lot of search APIs that you can use for when you develop your products. So that's an introduction of what the cognitive services are about. And emphasis, I want to emphasize the language category of the cognitive services. So this has, as we saw, this has text analytics, named recognition, keyword phrase, and text sentiment analysis. I'll just go through these. Yeah. So our main focus is on text analytics. So what does text analytics API contain? So see, when you go to the text analytics, when you pass something, pass a text analytics API to pass a sentence to the text analytics API. See, it has, I had a wonderful trip to Seattle and enjoyed seeing the Space Needle. This is the default that comes in the text analytics API demo when you try the demo. So what it does is, what it is doing is, it is classifying that the language, recognizing that the language is English with a confidence of 100%, and what the keywords are, key phrases, it has marked as Seattle, wonderful trip, and Space Needle. And and the sentiment score that it has given is 98%. And if it can, what linked entities mean is, if it can find some using Bing search APIs, if it can find some links, it will just create the URLs. So it has created the URL for Seattle, and also it has created the URL for Space Needle. So you can click on that and then see what Space Needle is and what Seattle is, and some more information on what Seattle is and what Space Needle is. So going further, sentiment analysis. So what does sentiment analysis mean? So it gives, when you pass a statement through a sentiment analysis, it returns a score between 0 and 1. Scores close to 1 indicate positive sentiment, and scores close to 0 indicate negative sentiment. And somewhere in between is the neutral sentiment. So sentiment score is generated using the classification techniques. And text analytics API also does key phrase extraction. So it returns a list of strings denoting the key talking points in the input text. So we have seen in the example, the Seattle wonderful trip and the Space Needle are the key phrases that the API has extracted. And then it does the natural language processing. So it uses the natural language processing toolkit, and it has support for English, German, Spanish, and Japanese text. And language detection, it returns the language detected, as we have seen that the sentence passed that was passed was detected as English language, and returns a score between 0 and 1 with a score of 1 indicates 100% certainty that the identified language is correct, and a total of 120 languages are supported by language detection for language detection under the text analytics API. So it's under preview. Linked entities is under preview. So detects all named entities in the text, such as organizations, people, and locations, and more. Entity linking disambiguates distinct entities by associating text to the additional information on the web. So for example, it uses Times to refer to the New York Times or Times Square. So it uses that kind of intelligence. So now let's come to our main part of the demo today. What are the requirements for doing a sentiment analysis using cognitive services in Power BI? So you need a Microsoft account, and you need an Azure account, and you need a Facebook account, and you need a cognitive services API account. I'll show you all these to get how to get all these, and then you can trial it for free for 7 days. So you can do that as well after this session when you get some time. And text analytics access key that was generated during this sign up process. During this sign up process, I'll show you all that. And then last but not the least, because you're using Power BI, you need a Power BI desktop. Okay, so let me go to the demo. So here I have, okay, I'll open a new Power BI desktop file. The first step is going through getting a Facebook page data into Power BI. So that's what I'll show you first, and then we can go through the how to get the sentiment analysis score. Hopefully time will be sufficient. Okay, so now always I just exit the starting screen. So if you what I want to do is I want to get data for our Power BI Facebook page. So when you see the Power BI, this is the Power BI Facebook page, and this is the extension of this is the username. You can think as username or page ID or whatever of the page of the Power BI page. So I take this one and I copy this one off from the Facebook. I don't need the facebook.com part. And then when you get data, you can use the Facebook connector. And then you can use Facebook. And when you do that, it says gets the connecting to a third party service. Just say continue. Just gets a warning. And then here, usually by default it comes as me because you are always logged in into your Facebook account. But today I want to do the sentiment analysis for Power BI. So I go and paste that here, and then here under connection you have a lot of things, but I want post, so you just go post and then say okay. You get this kind of a graph dot. There is a API. This is the API, and the version is 2.8. So instead of load, I just want you to edit before we load. So just go edit, and I want to remove all the nulls. Sometimes when you share messages, they create without any posts without any messages, that will become null. So I'll just go there and yeah, remove the nulls. First thing is I remove the nulls, and then here you have the message, what the message is, and you have the post ID, and then you have created time, and there is a story. If there is a story you have posted, then it comes, otherwise everything is null. We don't want this story at the moment, so I just remove that column. So remove, and you see here something called object link. So here if you click on one of the cell, you see what that link contains. So it contains created time, same as what we see here. Message also is the same as what we see here. So here is message, and record is the one that we don't see, and ID is the same that we see. So I want to extract only the connection record. So what I do is just expand this one, and then once it loads the columns, just deselect everything and just select the connections, and then it loads the connections. So, and this also is a record. So let's see what's underneath this one. To see that, you just go there, and then you can see that there are comments and likes. So what I want to do is I want to for today's session I am interested in comments, and I want to score the comments as whether they are positive or negative, and what's the score of the comments of the audience. So to do that, again expand that and then load both of them, because you need both of them. And because you have loaded both of them, both the comments and likes, yeah, okay, so those are the, so this is my base query. So, and I just want to do some more things before I save that as the base query. So here is the created time. Once you select that, and if you go to transform, it is classified as a data type as text, but we know that it's date time. So I'm just going to change that to date time. And the way I change it is here you see the ABC part of it, so icon. So just click on that and then change it to date time zone. So that will become a date time zone format. Now it's date time zone. And I also want to create just the date column. Instead of having both date and time, I just want to create just date column. So to do that, I just go into add column and then go into date only. Under the date, you just say date only. So you have the date column. So now my base query is ready. So I just call this as base query. Okay, so now the base query is ready. Now what I want to do is I want to reference it, and it's just taking time. Okay, I want to reference it and go do a reference. So to do a reference, I just right click on the base query and then do reference. And then I just want to create a post table. So I'm just creating post table. So post table will have what the message is and what the created time is and what the ID. This is the post ID. And I don't want the comments or the links part. So I just do um, remove columns, and then I want the date in this post. So I just so I'm done with the posts table. Now I want to create the comments table as well. So I just go again base query and create a reference of that, and then I want to create the comments table. So I'm just renaming it to comments. So in my comments table, I don't want message, I don't want created time, because that is the created time of the post, not the comment. So I am just removing those columns. I want to keep the ID and name it as post ID, so that I know that it is post ID. And now if we look underneath the what is there under the comments, it, it will take a while. Hopefully. Yeah, yeah. So it is showing what all is there. So it shows what's created time of the comment, and what the comment is, what the comment ID is, and another object link, what is the link of the comment. So I want to expand this one, but before I expand, I just want to remove the likes, because we don't want the likes, and also we don't want the date, because this is the date of the post and not the date of the comment. So I just remove that and expand this column and take only what is needed. We don't want object link, so I just remove the object link, and then we just take the created time. So I can just rename this to comment time, and this is the comments message. So I can just say comments, comment, and this one is the comment ID, comment ID. And what I want to do is I want to remove all the nulls. So I just go remove empty, and then it removes all the nulls. So this is basically my comments table. So this also is ready. So I just will name it as comments. Okay, so now the comments table is created. So now we need to think about how to get the sentiment score for the comments. So to do that, if we go back to our requirements, we need a Microsoft account, we need a Azure account. For this trial, we don't need an Azure account because there is a free trial that you can use for cognitive services. So we can use that. I'm going to use that today. So let's go into cognitive services and then go sign in. So once you go sign in with your because I have already signed in, it is just directly signing in. Otherwise it will ask you a few questions and then you can sign in. Once you sign in, then there will be a try cognitive, maybe I'll try there'll be a try cognitive services for free. So if you click on that, then you can create the text analytics API. So it has created, and I think I have created 3 days ago. So for me, it's 4 days more remaining. So I can use this. So here, the main important parts of your APIs is what the endpoint is and what the key is. So I'll use this key to create a parameter. So I'm just copying that key, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a parameter under manage parameters, new parameter, and I will call this as API space key, and then change the type to text, and it is required, so I'm going to give a current value of my API. So I just go OK, and so this is my parameter, and we have to create some function, create the text analytics function that can be called for our sentiment analysis. So I will just, before I do that, I have to grab a query. I think that, yeah, this is the query that we have to use to create a API. So this, all the links that I have used for creating this one is already there mm, in the presentation, which you can download under the handouts section, from the handout section now itself. So you can use that, and right click here and go new query and blank query. And once you are in the blank query, go to advanced editor and create the function. So whatever is comes by default, just delete that and then paste your query. And here, this is the parameter that here we are using the parameter. The usage of the parameter is this. So we have created an API key parameter, and it has to be used with a hash and a between quotation marks. So this is the API. So once you have created the parameter, then it with the same name. If your parameter created is the same name, this code will work perfectly. So just go and done, and then it should, yeah. If everything is okay, you should get this kind of dialog. So I just want to rename this as get sentiment. And now to utilize this API, what you need to do is you need to have two parameters. Let me see whether I can find it. Two parameters, it's not clear in this one. Two parameters, that is text and the ID. So our comments table does not have the exact kind of structure. So what I will do is I'll just reference off this comments table and then go reference, and then put only those things that I need, those columns that I need. So I don't need these columns, so I'll just remove them. And then the API needs the table in a particular format with different column names. So it recognizes text as the column name, so I just rename that as text. And this one recognizes as the ID as the column, so I just give the name as the ID as the column name. And then I will rename this one to comment sentiment. Now we have the two columns ready. So now what we need to do is we need to add a column. I'm just waiting for, okay, so we need to add a column, and in the column there is a how do we add a column? We want to invoke the function that we have just built. So just go invoke custom function, and when you click on the drop down, because you already created a function, so it just gives you that function. And then we have to pass the, because this is a text function that it requires, so we have to pass the text as the parameter here, and then click OK. For most of them, looks like it's working. Okay, sometimes what happens is, I think I have a, yeah, this is working. So sometimes you get this kind of oh, you get an error, formula error, I think. Yeah, you get this kind of an error, formula firewall error. So what you need to do for that is go into your file, options, and options here, options and settings and options, and then where is it? Yeah, under privacy, under global, under privacy, or you can do for the current file. Under privacy, just always ignore privacy level settings. Then you won't get that, and then you can get the score like this beautiful score. So I can just name this as score, and and then hit apply. I won't hit apply now because it takes a lot of time. It took a lot of time for me. So I have a Power BI file which I have already created. So I'll go through what I have created here. So this is the score that we have created. This is the score, and then I have created another column called rank. So here um, the column, what does the column do? It classifies each of the score, each of the comment into whether the sentiment is neutral or positive or negative based on this formula. So what is this formula? Can everyone see? Or so basically what this formula does is it looks at the score column, and then if the value is less than zero point 0.3, then it scores them as negative, and if the value is more than 7, it classifies them as positive. Everything else it classifies them as neutral. So and also one more thing that you need to do is you need to uh, change the score to a decimal number, which I forgot to tell you in that in the after the sentiment score is generated, it is generated as text. So you need to change that to decimal number. So and then I have ranked it. You can do your own analysis from here onwards. The way I have done it, I'll show you in the next 5 minutes because time is running out. So this is the rank I have done, and also I have created a comments link. So for example, if you go let's say okay, let's copy this ID. Okay, I'm just copying this ID part. When you copy, I think it copies entire thing, so I'm just copying this ID. I just want to show you something. Okay, I'm just copying this ID. Okay, and it will go when you use facebook.com plus that ID, facebook.com / and paste that ID. Oh, hold on, I just didn't copy maybe. What's happening? Oh, my Chrome is not responding. Okay, so basically what I was trying to show you is it will go to that particular comment link, that post link and comment link. I can demonstrate. You can try. So what I wanted to have is something like a comment link. So I have created another column by concatenating that particular facebook.com / and then this comment ID, so that you can go into that comment. And I have also created an average sentiment measure. So it's just an average of the score. And also I have created something called maybe if you want to see all the negative comments, so you can just go and see negative comments. The way I have calculated it is count all rows of the comment sentiment where the comment sentiment rank is negative. You can also use score as less than 0.3, but I have used the rank that I have created. So that way you can this is one of the measure that I have created. And the most important thing that you have to do is, the reason why I have created post table and comments table is to create a relationship between post table and comments table. Just expand these. So the post table is the post table, and I am linking that with the ID of the post with the post ID of this one. So if I highlight this one, these are the post IDs, and also the likes. If I created a likes table as well, and then created a link from liked this from the post ID to the liked post ID, and this one is also I have created a calendar with just had one column, and that column is generated by a calendar auto function. Calendar auto function, what it does is it just creates all the dates for you it takes the minimum of the dates from your data, from your post data. So from here it took the minimum of the post data uh, from this date, or from the date time, and then maximum of it, and then creates a calendar auto date column using those tables, and it populates all the dates in it so that you can use it for your analysis. So that's what I have used, and then linked that to um, uh, post link that to the date of the posts. So if you see this one, this has one date, and then these can have multiple dates, so it's a one to many relationship, and then it has the date. So that way I have done it. And then this is the small visualization that I have created. I have used the slicer to create the date from the calendar, to get the date from the calendar. And then I have also created a count rows using the count rows function, the total posts. So this I think this will give you the number of posts in Power BI, the total number of posts and the total number of comments. I have done it from the comments section. So total comments is again count rows of the total comments after removing nulls. And also sometimes you might get duplicates in your comments. So before sending this one, before hold on, yeah, in the comments sentiment, before you score it, you make sure that you remove the duplicates. And then I have just got the um, gauge chart and pass the average sentiment score. So Power BI average sentiment of the comments is 66%. So it's more towards the positive side. And here this one is, I think I've created a. Just give me a minute. Okay, so this one I have created a number of posts by year, I think. So can enable the data labels on. Yeah, number of posts by year. So and then here you can get side by side positive if you create a measure for positive comments as well, you can get side by side positive and negative comments. Here at the moment I have created a bar chart for column chart for negative comments and total comments, something like that. So this is how you can do sentiment analysis using cognitive services in Power BI. So I have used that API. So it's very easy to use the API. Any questions so far? If not, then I can go back to my presentation and cover off a little bit.
We do have
Okay.
one question, and this
Okay.
is
So
from
what's the
George
question?
Carlisle. It is,
Yeah.
does this work on with the English language, or is there a way to upload sentiment dictionary for other languages?
At the moment, I don't think there is a sentiment dictionary for other languages at the moment. It's yeah, I don't think there is. But there are some languages that are supported. I think German, German, and some other language. There are 4 languages that are supported, so which I have put in the presentation. So you can refer to that. Which language are you trying to use? I'm not too sure. Yeah. So I
Uh,
hope that answers the question.
let's see.
Okay.
Chinese
So
variants. Chinese
oh,
variants.
okay. Okay, so I don't think there is in the language detection part. There is a support for 120 languages, but sentiment analysis at the moment I think it's supporting only 4 or 5 languages. But I think it will definitely improve because every month there are some improvements or the other. So, and the product is improving really fast, so you can maybe you can create an idea and then post it on the cognitive services ideas, so that if people rank that, then you can get that language pretty soon,
Are
supported
there
pretty soon.
are there any other questions at this time?
Okay, so moving on, let's pause for the questions. I want to just cover one more bit. Considerations is pricing. So there is a free tier of 5,000 transactions per month, which you can use for 12 months. After that, you have a price. Yeah, you can use that. And also I have put the links of resources that I have used. And one more thing I think I will add to that is, if you get that error that I mentioned, you have to go to there is a oh, my Chrome has gone bonk. Oh. Okay, I will show. I will put the link in the presentation as well for the error, for those of you who get more errors and who can't use the privacy option. There is a workaround, so you can use that. I will put that in this resources link. And so let's recap. Yeah, so I think everyone understands now what a sentiment analysis is and how it works, and what a very brief introduction. I have never given this brief introduction of Microsoft Cognitive Services. But yeah, but I think you get the point. And then when you go and try, because there is a neat demo and try for yourself, you can try them, so which is really cool of Microsoft to offer that. And we have seen in detail what the text analytics API is, and also what Facebook sentiment we have done the demo of the Facebook sentiment analysis. And since we have time, I just want to show one more cool thing, where in the comment sentiment part, sometimes what you can do is you can group this by let's say I'll just reference again. I won't do it here. Okay, so you have this score. Before this score is generated, let's say I'll just another group, do another reference and comments. Comments 2 or something. You can pass tables for post ID, comment ID. Yeah, we don't need this one. I'm just removing those comment and comment ID. What you can do is you can pass groups of transactions, sorry, groups of words, groups of comments to the text analytics API. So with this, you can't pass groups of them. So what you can do is you can create a new column here called the index column. So you can just create an index, and then so that it creates a index for each of the row, and then you can create from here on, you can create a group of columns, a group of rows. So to do that, go into transform, and if you go into standard, there is a function called integer divide. So do that, and then say you want to group 1,000 rows. So you can group those 1,000 rows. What this function does is it generates, see how you see all. So the first 1,000 rows will be of 0, and then after at the moment it's loading only to 1,000 rows. After the 1,001 row will be indexed as 1. So this one you can group by, and then use all rows, and then you can say group subgroups or something. group by all rows, and then if you create OK, if you get OK, and then it will create a table record. So then you can remove all the columns and then just use the because this had only one group, there was no point doing it. So what you can this so this these two you can pass, these two, but that requires a little bit modified function to do that. I think I have that in my original file. I have that function. I'll just show you a quick yes. Okay, so I'll go to the edit queries and go to my get sentiment and advanced queries. Oh no, this is the same one. I think this one, function get sentiment. So this is the source that this is the text that you need to use to create the function, because this takes the text and ID as parameters, and then you can pass that table, and then you can pass groups of so that you can your charge when you are getting charge, your charge will be less, I guess. So you can use this one for grouping the rows into one sort of a transaction. Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to show you, another tip. So yeah, so any more questions, Donna?
Not at this time.
Okay, so I hope you all have enjoyed my session. If you have any questions, I think I have my contact details here, and I also have given a couple more slides for you to for you to understand a bit more on sentiment analysis. So sentiment analysis is rule based and machine learning based. One is rule based, I think. Yeah, rule based and machine learning based. I have included those. Um, yeah, I have included these ones, and yeah. And coming up next is, I think, there is a 24-hour pass session on April 3rd and 4th. So you can register for that session, for those sessions. And yeah, thank you for attending. And my contact number is I'm on Twitter as at Indupriya9, and my email is indupriya9@yahoo.com, and I'm on LinkedIn as well, so you can connect with me on LinkedIn.
And that is the end of our session. Thank you all for
Yeah,
attending.
thank you very much.